If I could go back in time, if I could somehow sit across from myself just before the diagnosis, there are so many things I would say, so many warnings I would give, so much reassurance I would offer. This isn't just for me, though this is for anyone who is in the fight right now, for anyone who loves someone in the fight, and for those who simply want to be prepared for the unexpected turns life can take. Because in the quiet before the storm, wisdom is the only shelter. I wish I knew then how much I was minimizing my own body's signals. For months, it was just a persistent stomach pain, or what I dismissed as bad indigestion. I'd take an antacid, shift my position on the couch, and tell myself to just tough it out. We're taught to be resilient, to not complain, to push through discomfort. But there's a critical difference between toughness and neglect. My body was sending clear, consistent signals, like a lighthouse keeper flashing a warning into a gathering fog. That ache after eating, the strange back pain that had no muscular cause, the fatigue that felt deeper than just being tired, they weren't random inconveniences. They were distress calls from a part of me that was in serious trouble. I wish I knew that our bodies speak a language all their own, a language of whispers that become screams if we don't listen. We have to become better listeners. We have to treat these signals not as annoyances to be silenced, but as urgent messages to be decoded. That gnawing feeling that something isn't right, it's your most primal, powerful intuition, and ignoring it is a gamble you can't afford to take. I wish I knew that seeking a second opinion isn't an insult to your doctor. It's a vital, non-negotiable step for your life. When my first doctor delivered the news, my world fractured. In that haze of shock and fear, the idea of questioning their expertise felt like a betrayal. I thought, who am I to challenge a medical professional? I worried it would be seen as a lack of trust, an offense. What I didn't understand is that in the world of complex oncology, especially with a diagnosis as formidable as pancreatic cancer, second opinions are not just accepted, they are standard practice. It's about gathering as much expertise and as many perspectives as possible. A different set of eyes might see a different nuance in a scan, suggest a clinical trial your first team wasn't aware of, or propose an alternative sequence of treatments. My second opinion didn't invalidate my first doctor. It enriched my understanding and, ultimately, gave me options I never would have known existed. It transformed me from a passive recipient of a plan into an active participant in building one. Getting another expert to review your case is not about doubt, it's about due diligence. It's the most profound act of self-advocacy you can perform when the stakes are this high. And oh, I wish I knew that the emotional tsunami is normal. I truly believed I was losing my mind. The moment the word cancer was spoken, I was plunged into a chaotic sea of emotions. There was a surge of blinding, white-hot anger at the universe, at my own body, at the sheer injustice of it all. Then came the waves of paralyzing fear, a cold dread that seeped into my bones in the dead of night, whispering terrifying what-ifs that stole my breath. I felt a profound sense of confusion, like I was navigating a foreign land without a map or a compass, where nothing made sense anymore. I felt so isolated in this internal chaos, convinced that I was failing at being strong. I'd put on a brave face for my family, and then crumble into a million pieces the moment I was alone. I wish someone had taken me by the shoulders back then and said, "This is a normal response to a completely abnormal situation. It is okay not to be okay. It is okay to be furious, to be terrified, and to be utterly lost. Your psyche is reeling from a seismic shock. Giving yourself permission to feel it all, without judgment, isn't a sign of weakness. It's the first step toward processing the trauma and beginning to heal your heart, even as your body begins its own battle. I wish I knew, from the very first day, to build my support squad immediately. In my initial state of shock, my instinct was to retreat, to curl inward and protect my loved ones from the burden of my diagnosis. I thought I could handle it, that I had to carry it alone. That was my pride and my fear talking, and it was a terrible mistake. You cannot and you should not carry this alone. This journey is too heavy for one person. It requires a team, a squad. This team, of course, includes your medical professionals, your oncologist, your surgeon, your nurses, but just as critically, it includes your people. The family member who can sit with you in silence, the friend who can make you laugh at the absurdity of it all, the neighbor who drops off a meal without needing to be asked. And, so importantly, it includes a mental health professional, a therapist, a counselor, a support grouper, neutral. Safe space where you can unload all the fear, anger, and grief without worrying about scaring the people you love. Building this team isn't a sign of dependence, it's a strategic act of survival. It's creating a net to catch you, a fortress to protect you, and a chorus of voices to remind you that you are loved and you are not in this by yourself. More than anything, I wish I knew how to advocate for myself like my life depended on it, because it does. In the beginning, I was a compliant patient. I nodded, I agreed, I followed instructions without question because I was intimidated by the complexity of it all. I didn't want to be seen as difficult, but I learned, the hard way, that you have to be the CEO of your own care. You have to be a polite but persistent advocate. I wish I knew to ask why for every single test that was ordered. Why this scan over another? What are we looking for specifically? I wish I knew to ask why for every treatment option presented. And just as importantly, for those that weren't, why are we choosing this chemotherapy regimen? What are the other options? What are the latest clinical trials? And do I qualify? I wish I knew to challenge every no. You say I'm not a candidate for surgery. Can you walk me through the specific reasons why? What would need to change for me to become a candidate? You have to be an active, inquisitive, and sometimes relentless participant in your own journey. Keep a notebook, record your appointments, bring someone with you as a second set of ears. Your medical team are brilliant experts, but you are the world's leading expert on one thing. Your voice matters more than you can possibly imagine. Most of all, I wish I knew that this journey, as fraught with immense challenge as it is, would also reveal a profound strength I never ever knew I had. It's a strength born not from the absence of fear, but from moving forward in spite of it. It's a resilience forged in the fires of uncertainty and pain. Looking back, I see a person who was so scared and unprepared, and my heart aches for them. But I no longer judge that person for what they didn't know. Instead, I feel a deep compassion. So if you're at the beginning of this path, or anywhere along it, hear me now. Be kinder to your past self for the things you couldn't have known, and be braver for your future self, because you are about to discover a power within you that is more incredible than you can possibly comprehend.